is 6 o'clock.
Mary Beth, you ready?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Welcome tonight. It's 6 o'clock, a little after, August 23rd, call to order the Board of Water Commissioners meeting. Right now, from 6:05 to 6:20, we'll do citizens' query, and before that, I have an announcement we're going to read. Do that before the query, because that's 6:05. A drought advisory has been issued by the Mass DEP Bureau of Water Resources. According to the drought management plan, the town of Raleigh has been upgraded to a warning level. The next state is emergency. This is unprecedented. We haven't been in this state in years. The state continues to intensely monitor and assess the drought situation and environmental and agricultural impacts, and asks the public to be mindful of the amount of water they are using and to limit outdoor water use to essential needs such as drinking water, fire protection, and crop hydration. For regions in the drought warning, outdoor water use is banned. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, it's banned. We ask you continued effort in conserving water. Additionally, our neighboring towns, I checked with them today, they are in even more dire straits. Ipswich has about 24 days of water left in their resources. Georgetown is under 50%. We're holding our own right now, but it is a serious situation. I spoke last night at the selectmen's meeting, asked people to conserve, people with private wells additionally to conserve. They're not under the bylaws. However, they're drawing from the same aquifer, and we have aging infrastructure and a limited aquifer. And if people do have dry wells, if they dry them up, they're going to have trouble because there'll be an entire process to connect to the public water supply. We're not staffed to do immediate response. We don't have the equipment on hand. We don't have the gear, the people, the time, and it'll be, and I'm telling people now, a best effort basis. People can scream and yell all they want. I can't go out and hire 20 people to put crews on to do that, and there's additional fees. If you're not connected to the water system, that's ranges from $4,000 to $8,000 depending on your requirements and your needs. So we just want to make sure people understand that. So that's the PSA for tonight, and now we'll do citizens' query.
Come up or just
No, you can sit there, just identify yourself.
Yeah, my name is David Rimmer. I work for the Essex County Greenbelt Association, and we own a property at 95 Railroad Ave, which is down past the MBTA station. We had a plan, we've known for some time we've needed to replace the water line at this property. We are connected to municipal water. And we had a plan approved by this department this spring with an agreed upon date of September 6th for the replacement of that water line. I received a message yesterday and then communicated with the superintendent today about that, and given the severity of the situation, we were told that we needed to move that water replacement date up to next Friday, the 2nd. The water line replacement date. And so I'm here just to sort of seek. So what we were also told is that one of the main reasons we need to do that is we were losing 3,000 gallons a day to this leak.
At least.
But I have my Pennachuck bill here, and it reflects that in the month of June we used 15,000 gallons over 35 days. So I'm not sure where the 3,000 gallon number comes from, and I'm not diminishing that we have a leak, but that comes out to like 400 or so gallons a day and there's 3 residences on this property. So
I can help elucidate on that if you
Okay.
want. I have a lot more records right here, and I asked Mary Beth if she'd give me some more data, just in case we want to talk about it. But going back, I can see from June of last year, it looks like all before that you were in the 6, 7, 8, under 10,000 gallons a day, and in June of last year it took off. You were like 26, 16, 13, 17, 12. And then it's seasonal, so we had a diminished part, and then it kicked back up to 15. The 3,000 is calculated from Penachuk on whatever algorithm they're using, but we can see from the records and they track, you know, from a bigger perspective, that there is a leak.
Right.
And, well, it's costing you money.
Right. So
And,
we're not.
and
yeah.
the biggest thing is right now,
I understand.
it's
Right.
what I just read, that's all.
So here's the situation. So we had a contractor lined up to do this work. Just got off the phone with him as I drove over here. He's like, he's on a septic job right now. There's like no way he can do this work by next week. So what I'm here to ask is, basically, as soon as I can get him in the queue, we will do the work. And he thinks it'll be the week after Labor Day. But of course, Labor Day weekend is a long weekend, so it wouldn't be till, you know, whatever, the 6th, the next week that he could start. So I'm sort of asking what, because the alternative, if we didn't get the work done by the 2nd, they're going to shut the water, you would shut the water off. And these dwellings down there are all rented, they're all leased.
So I can
it's
shut the
not-
water off.
So anyways,
But
you know, we want to work with the department to get this done as soon as possible. I just wanted to understand, you know,
Well, what's driving us right now is that, you know, we've got the water capacity figures here, and, I mean, we're not gonna get into that tonight, but it's scary. I mean, the water main break we had 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, last week, the tank dropped 2 feet, and that was during the day. If that tank happened in the middle of the night, and to get people from out of bed, we could be the perfect storm, and you know, I hope nothing ever happens, but if we had that and some kind of a fire, we could have a significant life safety problem. And not only life safety, people might not even be able to get water out of their tap. It's just that critical. So that said, Mary Beth and my fellow commissioners, I mean, I think we want to try and work with them.
yeah. I'm not trying to diminish for a second the severity of the situation. It just,
You know, we're just kind of going through the list and trying to make sure we plug every hole, but
right.
can we, I know it's losing water, but can we make an exception to put them out? So I'd say our next meeting is going to be on the 23rd, probably not till the 6th. And you're saying the week after Labor Day?
That's, I mean, he was hoping that he could come in on the 6th. Of course, it depends on how this job he's on now is going.
Yeah.
I guess the bottom line with me is as soon as he can get in and do the work, we'll get him in to do the work. It's not going to be October, it's not going to be months out or even weeks out, deep into September. But the only other, I'll just mention the complicating factor, we've been trying to negotiate with this movie company called Chappaquiddick. Maybe some of you've heard of them. They've been in and around.
They were at town meeting last night.
They want to film down there,
I know.
and I'm trying to personally negotiate a contract with them. They want to film, not the week after Labor Day, but the next week. So it's like, I'm just getting it from all directions. I'm trying to accommodate
I believe they
them.
want to film the road too, don't they?
They do want to film the road. So
Yeah.
the woman was
That's what
freaking
we
out
found
and I
out
told her that
today.
we might have to dig up the road. So again, I'm not trying to, you know,
Well,
push this thing out and be difficult.
Mary Beth?
I just have a question. Is the contractor Paul Wilkinson?
Yes.
So it says that they're a septic installer. Are they approved for installing water lines?
He has installed water lines. I don't know if, you know, if you guys know Paul from Newbury.
I know.
I'm only asking because the name of the company is a little misleading.
Yeah.
So do they do water and sewer lines? Is that the combination? I just noticed that.
Yeah, you just want to, you know what, just confirm that, and just say they have, what is it, an approved installer, is that the term?
Yeah, we have to make sure that they're,
Yeah, so
qualified
let's-
to do the work.
Let's
Okay.
make sure that they're approved installer, you guys can talk tomorrow, and,
Okay.
any thoughts? Push them out, give them some leeway?
Now,
Yeah.
is that a town road, town accepted road?
Railroad Ave?
Yeah. I'm only saying because the
No,
other
I'm
thing
not
that
sure
needs,
about that section of it.
well, because the other thing that needs to
Town doesn't
happen,
maintain it past the,
Okay.
Road cut.
because
Has
the road
to.
opening permit issue is gonna come up.
Paul drills wells, but there's water lines.
If he drills wells, he must do it. Thank you. But, there's the issue of the road opening permit. We still haven't gotten proof of insurance of $1 million coverage from the contractor that's gonna be doing the installation. Dig safe needs to be called in, and the number one thing is the appointment has to be set with customer service
Yeah.
for the water on and off.
So,
For the work.
can you get,
So I need to get a firm date from him and then do these other things.
yeah, I mean, what I would say is this week, by the end of this week, get a firm date from him, because all the stuff Mary Beth said has to happen, the road permit, the insurance, et cetera. And understanding the Labor Day week, that's probably, you know, and then if the filming is going on, that's disrupting all over town, I understood. I just really don't want to go out to like the third week of September.
I mean, is there, you've got one service provider lined up. Are there others who might be more flexible and more immediately available?
Yes, I'm sure there are.
So what? I mean,
Can you
it seems
recommend
to me
any,
as
or
though,
do
Well,
list?
I don't want to be recommending anybody, but I do know that a lot of people in town have used TW Excavator.
Yeah, seen them
And
around.
they've been very responsive. They've, you know, I've heard good things about them. I'm not endorsing them, I'm just telling you what I've heard feedback from customers.
so it seems to me as though the optimal solution is to get it done really quick so that your leverage with the film people is optimized and our problem with leakage is
Solved.
So
solved.
this is, this is where.
So it's really,
This is? No, he's got an appointment.
Does he?
No, this is.
No.
Oh, this is
Citizens'
Citizens Query.
done,
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, we are not supposed to engage in dialogue in Citizens Query.
You guys are.
Yeah, under open meeting laws, I just violated that.
But my suggestion was is just to work with Mary Beth and get it done as soon as
We'll
possible.
direct Mary Beth to be flexible. I guess that's the best.
Under the superintendent's report, I had listed some follow-up discussions from previous things, so if the board would want to continue discussions when I raise something to the board later on, then you could.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, I don't wanna make Mr. Rimmer sit here for another 2 hours, so, you know, we'll do that, but, we'll discuss that.
I'll just be in touch with you tomorrow. And, I mean, I really do want to cooperate, I want to get this done, and maybe we can find another contractor that can do it sooner. And if so, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, we'll, yep.
You would endorse that?
Well, speak with Mary Beth. Again, I don't wanna
he's
run
already
afoul
been
of
a
the
bad
laws.
boy.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And he
not,
already told us not to do it.
yeah, yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
It
and
just
we'll-
all
we'll be in
dawned on
touch
me.
tomorrow.
I know, why did she say that earlier?
This is just gone now.
Notwithstanding that transgression, for open citizens query, I apologize, we should not have been engaging in conversations, but anyways.
Okay, yeah, hi, I'm Bruce Wallen, I live on Daniels Road, and I'm quite happy that actually that the state is doing that, communities in the area are taking action here for conservation. I wish it would have happened sooner, to be honest. I guess my question is, or comment relates to clarifying the usage. I kind of heard through the grapevine that this might cause gardens to be impacted, like food source gardens in homes, or I personally have a plot in the community garden because we have a shaded property that's impossible to grow anything. So we got a plot in the community garden, and it's our primary food source. It's not a hobby, to be honest. I kind of despise it. It's hard work, you know. It's tedious, but it's our primary food source, not just for summer, but you know, basically year round. Because you know, I can provide as an exhibit here, you know, just as an example of things. Canned tomatoes, you know, whatever we have extra, we can and use year round. Relish, beets, you know, salsa, homemade salsa. Just this week I made a bunch of ketchup, green beans, so on. You get the point. But the point is that it's our primary food source for our family. So the water, when we're in a drought situation, the watering becomes kind of crucial. As a homeowner, I've done everything I can to reduce water usage. We've replaced all our toilets with dual flush, low flow toilets. We've replaced our faucets and shower heads with low flow heads. Our landscaping is all native drought tolerant species, so we don't do any outdoor watering for our landscaping or lawn. It's all left under nature. But the garden is kind of one thing we really need clarity in the language to make sure that food source gardens are included in terms of allowing water. If I may approach here, I just want to provide this as just an example of a typical, every few days harvest. Just show some of the things we get out of the garden. And then printout of the Mass DEP letter that was sent out regarding the drought warning that was issued. I highlighted the phrase here that says, certain water uses are not subject to mandatory restrictions, such as water use for the production of food and fiber. That's the phrase I highlighted. So it seems like if this isn't food, I don't know what is. So I was just hoping that you could clarify specifically and not just say kind of no outdoor watering. Could we get, as homeowners throughout the community, could we have some clarity on exactly what that means relating to food crops?
I really don't think we can address this, unfortunately.
I'd like to, but
yeah, I definitely.
it's not on the agenda.
Oh, and I brought a little here.
No, it's okay. It's graft. I'm just teasing.
It's really good.
Thank you.
Trust me.
No, I actually.
My tomatoes are suffering.
Because I got that from Mass Waterworks, and I
Yeah.
picked up on that too.
Yeah.
I don't know that this, to finesse the open meeting requirement, it's a question that follows directly from your announcement, and it's a point of clarification, and I have that point of clarification as well, because it seems to me odd that a commercial enterprise would not have to follow the border restrictions, but a personal garden providing exactly the same crop for exactly the same usage does. That just seems to me as an issue of honesty and integrity in the interpretation of the instruction from the DEP.
And yeah, we may be violating it too, but the rules and regs that we have and what's come out from the state, and there's other more things here for food and fiber, and there's further discussion down in some of those things. When we enacted this, it was no outside watering, okay? And the thing is, the community garden has irrigation, where I believe there's sprinklers or drip irrigation is in effect there.
There's no drip or irrigation and no sprinklers. It's all hand water. I mean, there are faucets, but what people do is they hook up hoses to hand water. There are no sprinklers. I've never seen sprinklers.
But even using a hose is going to use more than if someone fills a bucket and dumps it. Because what we need to do is be consistent with the application, and homeowners cannot use a hose outside to water.
Okay,
And it might be a fine point, but if we make an exception for one area, the next person says, well, I'm going to use my hose, I'm going to use a hose, we have no regulation.
So we can use a bucket?
I
That's
think,
fine.
well, that's what I want to discuss with the people here, is that
Or a watering can?
as long as it's filled by hand and carried to the, and I know this is onerous, I carry my water 200 feet from my house to the garden plot with our recycled water. It's horrible, but I think we have to be this fair to everyone, and we're not saying that you cannot water, but everyone gets the same. You can't use hoses, and there's no outside watering. Mary Beth?
Bernie, I hate to put Bernie on the spot, but I really would like Bernie to share what he's doing in his household as one of his conservation
Well,
measures.
I'm sure everybody's doing the same, which is to collect the grey water, including my shower water isn't grey, I hasten to add. It's pretty it's pretty clean, and we're collecting all the water, and we estimate we collect 10 gallons a day.
We have 6 people in the house, we collect almost 15 gallons.
And then we
with
and then
recycled
That's
and
awesome.
that's
That's
then
disgusting.
poured into
Thank you.
the water bottles and watering cans, and my wife waters the garden that way, plant by plant.
I would have no problem leaving the water there as long as it's done by hand, and that means no hoses. I mean, a hose from the spigot into a bucket, that's fine. And it's got to be, everyone has to have the same rule. Whether if you plots at your house or if you plots in the community garden. There's water there, you're probably carrying out less than some of the homeowners. But, I mean, I think that would be fair.
One thing I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware, we have enlisted the assistance of the Raleigh Police Department. So they are out patrolling the town 24, whatever they do, 24-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And they are reporting back to us, the patrolmen, who has been seen irrigating and who's using water. Now, I know they don't know, they're reporting us an address. We do our best to research to make sure that they're not a well customer. But one thing I would encourage, that if you are a well user in town, if you could please put a sign up by your mailbox or its front that everybody can see well water in use. And what that will do, it frees up us in the office, alleviates us a little bit, but it also will prevent us from thinking you're a repeat offender kind of thing. And and even though while we do ask conservation with everybody in the town, for that matter, but it would just help, because we have had several customers that reported that the sprinkler systems are going full bore. And the police are reporting this back to us, so they are out patrolling and they are getting back to us, and we are following up. And the one thing is, people have to understand, because we are at this level, there are fines associated. It is $50 for the first offense, $100 for the second offense, it's $150 for the third offense, plus $150 turn-on, turn-off fee, for a total of $300 for third offense, and we shut your water off. So it's pretty serious out there. In the state, we had a conference call last Friday. I know Mr. Manning had dialed in remotely from where he was, and it was with MEMA. And the picture that was painted for this region, it was pretty grim. The concern is fire protection. It's a tinderbox out there. You don't have to be a firefighter to just see that. I mean, the ground, the dirt just blows in the wind. So it's concern, and of course, not only fire protection, but we as trying to supply the town with the safe drinking water, it's getting tougher and tougher. The wells are being drawn down, the aquifer is being drawn down, and it's not just here in Raleigh, it's our neighbors, it's Ipswich, it's Byfield, it's Newbury, it's Georgetown, it's everybody in this area, because we're all taking from the same river basin. So that is why they're trying to stress the importance of, we would ask voluntary conservation with the people that have wells, but then we ask, even though our water customers, which we greatly appreciate, the conservation efforts, we need a little more. We just need just a little more, try a little more. And I know it's a pain in the neck, and it's inconvenient, but it could be a matter of life or death situation, and we don't want to be there.
So at the community garden, I think it would probably be, we'd say, okay, because we're telling people you can water your garden at home. You can't use the hose. You can't stand there and just water your garden. It's got to be hand watered. And whether you fill the bucket up and
Do
bring
you
it over.
differentiate between ornamentals and food crops in terms of your instruction to the community?
Well, flowers are not, if you read this, it's for food and fiber. If you're growing hemp to make rope, sure. If it's flowers, no. Unless,
Right,
if you want to spend some of your recycled water on flowers,
That was my
that's your
tool.
own business. But for using water, right now, it's kind of the bare necessities. Now, I don't know if there's a hose down at the garden, community garden. I would recommend it be taken down and just leave the spigot there.
There are no hoses provided, no. They're
Okay.
just spigots,
Yep.
standard.
Then yeah, I mean, as long as it's done by hand, But, as Mary Beth said, if someone says, well, you know, it's 10 o'clock, I'm gonna hook up a hose, it's not a good idea. The police will see it and report it. So, I'm not saying you guys are doing it, but to share this with anyone else that's there. Don't do it. You will be endangering all of the people that are involved. It's, this is deadly serious with regards to the fire and life safety.
This is the worst drought we've had in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I think they talked about the 50s as the last time it was even close to this.
Sorry, excuse me, can I just raise a quick question about, I realize I'm jumping ahead, but is there an error in item number 7 on new business on the address? Because I'm the next door neighbor, and I think you mean 111, not 110? Because that's the water department was just there today investigating.
We can look
I'm
into
just
it.
wondering if that's a goof.
It was reported to me, 110 Daniels Road.
We'll check the records.
110 is the Rennies, and 111 is the Gannon residence.
110 is who?
110 is the Rennie residence, 111 is the Gannon residence, and that's the one that the water department is being investigated. Anyway, I just want to make sure you get the right address.
What does it say on the letter?
Rennie's.
Then that's who has the leak.
So it's saying the Rennie's, but you said the water department's over talking to the other folks?
Okay, yeah, I don't know, they shut off our house by mistake, so they said they were trying to do the 111, so it's just a misunderstanding probably on my part, I just want to make sure.
Well, Mary Beth will follow up with the guys, but that's on our agenda anyways, we're talking about that. We're kind of all over the place here, so I don't know if that answers your question. You can hand water
That's fine.
in the garden. So, and thank you for the tomato, I don't like tomatoes. Seriously,
So if there's nothing else on the Citizens Court, we have an appointment there, we're half an hour late.
Very
yeah.
late.
So anything else for Citizens Court?
Can I just real quick, I was also here for asking about hand watering a garden. Can I ask that the website be updated and Pennachuck be notified as well? Because when I initially looked through the website, I thought watering a home garden was going to be fine, because when I clicked through the notice, it did say food production. Being a good duty, I called Pennachuck. She was fantastic, Sandy. She had me on hold for about 15 minutes, came back to me 3 or 4 times saying, I'm sorry, I'm still working on it. Came back to me kindly and said, yes, hand watering is fine. Called me the next day and left a message on my answering machine saying, I'm so sorry, I was wrong. It's not allowed at all. So can we just get a clarification on that as well, if that's possible?
So when we say hand watering, what we're telling customers is you need to use the gray water. You need to pull the drain in your tub. If you really want to have flowers in your flower box, and it's that important, you need to use the gray water. One of the things, you know, when you do a load of laundry, this is all an inconvenience, but if you want to have this, you're going to have to work with us. When you do laundry, you have that, you know, the hose that goes into the drain, and it goes right into your septic. That's an awful lot of water. You could take a trash can and put that hose right in a trash can and collect that water from a laundry. Use that to water your plants. You know,
For the community garden, though, I don't think we can have people, unfortunately, we can't have people putting 5-gallon buckets in the back of the
all right, well
trunk.
then I guess I'm confused because I thought were you here for the community garden or your own?
No, my own private
Okay, so this is
property.
not
For-
for the
for
community.
home?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for her home.
You can't drag a hose out.
I'm not trying to drag the hose out. So I save my gray water as much as I can. I have 4 55-gallon rain barrels that operate from the time spring starts
That's
all
wonderful.
the way through.
Yep.
My question that I called about was, when my rain barrels are dry, can I take a watering can, open my spigot on the outside of my house, and
No,
no,
you're
I
supposed
can't.
to, no, you're not,
Not
no
supposed-
outside water.
watering.
Food, it's food.
But if you are at a residence, and that's the problem here. We've got people that are growing food, and the state has just said it's more for commercial, and we're looking for
Commercial farmers.
clarification on that. But right now, if it's a home, and that's what we're saying, we're enforcing the law the same across everyone. You just can't water outside. You can't turn the outside spigot on. If you want to take the water from inside and out, that's fine, but that's not the way it's supposed to be. So we'll ask for clarification with the state, and we'll get more, but if it's your house, you can't just go out and just turn the spigot on and water. You've got to recycle.
So John, now I'm confused, because I thought we just said to the community garden, they could hand
We're
water.
making an exception for the community garden because their houses are not by the garden. They're, you know, or if it want to be draconian, gray water only at the community garden, and we'll turn it off. I mean, but I don't know how many plots are down there. It would be affecting quite a few people, I would believe.
Yeah, they're,
Well, I'm not for that. If we need clarification from the state first and find out whether food crops are food crops, and if you've got food crops and you can water, then
Generally, than the other towns I've checked with, and I know that every town is different, but the towns I've checked with, yeah, they're saying commercial, like Herrick Farm or Marini Farm, the farms can water,
Farms can water.
but homeowners cannot. So we'll get clarification and we'll do the best that we can, and we'll put it on the website when we have it. So is there any other items for the citizens query? So, okay, we're a half an hour behind, and this could go on, and we just don't have it. It's a controversy, but we'll let the community garden hand water, and then for everyone else, there is no water. All right. So, next one, Mr. Pasidi, I'm sorry, we've run over, it's kind of an extraordinary situation. Request to waive the $151.08 fees associated with having town water in a private well. Now, I know you've been here, and we put in we put a lock in the meter pit, and we're waiting for the equipment.
Yeah, so what happened is, because it's a specialty lock, originally, when they called, we ordered them, they said it would be in 1 to 2 weeks. I had Katie call yesterday in anticipation of Mr. Passetti being here, and we were told they were on back order, another 1 to 2 weeks.
Due to that and the other situation with, I have to apologize for the length of time it's taken to get through this and come to a conclusion, I would say that we should waive those fees.
I'd make a motion. Do we need to make a motion?
Yeah.
For that? I'll make a motion to waive the fees from Mr. Chetty.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done.
I just have one more question, if you don't mind. Why wasn't I told, like, taking the meter out, shutting off the valve, that I would be paying for the lock?
I believe we discussed that.
And caught me by surprise when the guy got out of the truck, I said, you here to take the meter out? He goes, no, I'm here to get it checked.
Okay.
Okay, so what happened is that at the last Board of Water Commissioners meeting, the commissioners instructed me to go out to the site to investigate, can we do this?
Yeah.
If it was doable, you voted to allow Mr. Passetti to sever his ties with the system in this manner. So the first appointment I went out to was just that. I went out with Rob, we located the stop, we put a blue paint mark on it, and we opened up unburied the meter pit and opened it up, and it confirmed that the padlock would fit. If we had you pay for a padlock prior to that, we would have been reimbursing you if it wouldn't work, and we would have had to come back to the board for another alternative means. So it was at that time that I went out that first time, and I confirmed that we could do the padlock, and that is when, I'm still trying to figure it out, how it all happened that, we had another appointment, because I saw the work order, I'm like, why do we have another appointment? The next step was to notify you, which we normally do customer via a letter, so we could document that we've, told you. And the letter would have said, I came out, I took a look, yes, it's going to work. So the next step is we have to purchase the padlock, but it didn't happen that way. That's why we didn't tell you up front, because why would I tell you if it wasn't going to work? So because I determined it would work, that's when it came in, yes, it's $125 for the padlock to finalize the whole thing.
Is this one of those Seacoast locks? With
Yes.
The
yes,
special
Yes.
stuff on them?
Yes.
They're unique, I guess is the only way to describe it. What's that?
I've never seen it.
It looks like a regular padlock,
It
but
looks like it, but the key
beefier.
it looks like a Volkswagen key is the best
Oh,
thing I
it
can
is.
describe. It's like
Security.
laser cut, and it's pretty complex. Yeah, it looks like that.
Type keys.
They are not
You
reproducible.
can't cut them with bolt cutters. They're security padlocks.
Yeah,
So I've been told.
yeah. They're expensive, they're very high end, we have them here. But we've waived the fees. Clean that up. and we should be able to finish it. Okay? Okay. On a positive note, if the well is an issue, you'll be a little faster to get back if you need to come back to for water. Having the meter pit is an advantage. Old business, are we ready? So this is what we just. I don't know what the sidebar is, but.
So we continue?
Well, yeah, I want Mary Beth here, though. We'll discuss it for a little bit. We talked about the billing cycle option presented by Penachuk to go into, well, I'll read the notice that Mary Beth put together. You're welcome. Thank you. Effective 11/1/16, the water billing cycle will change. Going forward, the water meters will be read on or about the first of every month. If the first of the month falls on a Saturday, the water meters will be read on the Friday before. If the first falls on a Sunday, the water meters will be read on the following Monday. You will still receive a monthly water bill. You can expect the number of days in the read cycle to be between 29 to 32 days. There may be a larger number of days on the first read as we transition to this new read cycle. We appreciate your patience as we try to improve our billing cycle to serve you better. And that's the notice that we want to put in, I'm not sure, September, October bills, to let people know we're going to change this billing cycle so that to try and smooth it out more. We looked at the calendar
Probably wouldn't
last
hurt
week.
to do it twice.
What's that?
Probably wouldn't hurt to do it twice.
Yeah, when Mary Beth comes in, we'll ask if that's
Well,
feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we send out a notice for the survey at the same time. I'd rather kind of time it so that
It's next.
well, not that it's necessary next, but we don't have two pieces of paper in there at the same time.
Right. So when Mary Beth comes back in, we can't go on because the next item is the sanitary survey, which if you guys read.
We discussed the
issues.
survey.
You want to discuss the survey?
Yeah, if you guys have done stuff on it,
Yeah, I
I
read it.
have not even had a chance to look at it.
then
really, because
if
I've
you
been so
haven't
busy.
looked at it, then I think we move
was
it to
gonna-
them.
I was gonna
Because
say,
they really
we-
need you guys to,
Yeah, we need to
I've read it.
postpone
and
it
I've got
until,
some questions.
because I've been gone and then get back trying to catch up with all this stuff was, I figured was more
so
important.
if you have questions, you want to send it via Mary Beth to me, and then I can,
Yeah, I'll give it to Mary Beth, and I'll just tell you now because we can discuss it. But the ball field issue,
Ball
being
field?
in
Yeah, I still have this one. Just haven't had a chance to get
Mike's-
this one.
the
Survey?
number two. Geez, it's
oh, no,
the,
no, you're talking,
Section
when
B.
I said the survey, I meant
Oh,
it's
your
customer
survey.
His
survey.
customer survey.
Oh,
I was-
sorry. I had sanitary survey as next. Oh,
No, no,
customer
no,
survey.
so we
Customer
could talk
survey.
about his customer survey because
He knew what I was talking about.
I haven't had a chance
I was
to
looking at
read
the
it
next
yet because I've been going through the sanitary survey and then dealing with this stuff. I only got so many hours in the day, as you know.
Okay, so I had survey next, not your survey.
Yes,
sanitary
so I
survey.
suggest we put it off at least a meeting or two.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like it to go out. I don't want us to get hit by all the freneticism around the drought, because that creates a
Mhm.
kind of noise. But I do think.
Could we
it's
put
kinda
this
like
out till
a
after
October-
November? After November to get this whole thing
No,
all...
December?
No,
talking about
if
the
you're gonna
billing
do a survey, I would put the survey out.
No, his survey
Yeah.
out till past, we're getting through this route stuff, changing this, you know.
Put
can we
it
get-
like in December?
Yeah, I was thinking get past all this stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather have the survey go out in the latest, the billing cycle of October, because then you get into holidays, the holiday season, and survey responses. In business, we don't send
10% is what
We
I
don't send
understand.
surveys out November and December,
No.
we just don't do it.
Nope.
So, unless you want to, unless you have an ulterior motive.
No, I'm just trying to get past,
Say it. Oh, okay. Well, it's not on the agenda, since it is.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of things on the principal issues around the sanitary survey.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What'd I miss?
Sidebar. Are you all right?
Yes, I was
Okay.
just trying to work through some of the finalized, from Mr. House.
So, back to the agenda. The billing cycle, that's all right, you know, it's a crazy time. We've got this, I just read it so people can hear it. When do we want to put this out? In October or September?
So let me read this again so I can just say, so this will be, so what will happen is this will go out in the,
I would say the September bill, if we could.
well, I was gonna put this in the September bill, but we were gonna do a bill stuffer on the water ban, so we can't put both. I can see if maybe they can do a double-sided, because we can do double-sided and do this one on one side, notice 1 and notice 2. But I need to, but in order to do that, I need to get that to Tara at Pennachuck, because she's already forwarded off the insert, because they get things prepared in advance. So the process has already begun, because we'll be doing reader meeting next week. So if you want this notice to go in, the September bill, I just need you to tell me that, and I'll make it happen. If you're fine with the effective date of,
Yeah, 11/1, yeah, I think that
All
gives lots of lead time to people.
okay.
So let me just understand, when the meters, if the meters get read, say on the 11/1, that meter reading, the amount of, what that shows in terms of usage is going to appear for the next bill. Is that correct?
Okay, so when we switch to the new billing cycle, we will be reading the water meters, let's just say, so is that what the board wants? I mean, you've got to pick the day. Is that what you want? You decided you want it on the 1st of the month?
Yeah?
Okay.
That's fine.
So on the 1st of the month, let's just say we'll use this example. So we're going to go out and read the water meters on November 1st. That usage will cover from, we're going to read the meters on the September 31st, so your first water bill, the
Well,
reading
no,
will
let's
be...
do the December 1st. I know there's going to be complications as the trade changeover.
No, it's all going to change. It's all going to change,
So
so,
it's gonna be November, it's gonna be 11/1 is when we start it.
no, you
Right,
will
but
be...
that will be catch-up, there will be complications. What I want to understand is what, on the 12, when we read it on 12/1, we've already been through this process. That 12/1 reading is going to cover what period of time of usage?
From
And
11/1
when will
to
it
12/1.
show? And when will it show up on the bill?
Okay.
The December bill.
So the very, well, let's just take a step back, because December's too far. Let's talk about this first billing, because this is where people are going to see the
The
impact, okay?
crossover, yeah.
So, we're gonna go out, normally we would have read the meters on the last Wednesday in October, but we're not. So we're gonna go out on the first, whichever day that is. And it will be a longer read period. So the last time we would have read the water meters would have been on September 31st, which is next Wednesday. So there'll be 3 or 4 days of extra usage, so that we can try to catch up on this cycle. When we read on the 1st, it will be that larger bill. So we will now be reading in the same month that we are billing. And then going forward, we'll read meters on 12/1, which will be from 11/1 to 12/1. So there'll be, it will go, we'll read, and then,
It's just gonna have to be an adjustment month.
is the due date still going to be the entire 30 days for the water bill to receive the discount? Because that's going to be asked of me from Pennachuck. How are we going to handle the discount?
Keep the status quo.
I'd
and
say
then
keep it the
After
same.
the first of the year, we'll look at that.
Okay.
Let's, little bits of change right now.
Now, I just will say there's probably going to be some hiccups, at the startup. Just ask people to please be patient while we, work through. If you have any issues with your water bill, best thing to do is call customer service. and ask them the questions, but it might be a month or two before it all, you know, smooths out.
Right, but can we include in this notice the fact that if we know that the first bill is going to be for 37 days or 35 days and will therefore be higher, let's make that clear. Let's give people the heads up that that will in fact be occurring. Because that's what you just said.
Well, I can't put one number. It is always going to be between 29 days and 32 days.
Depending on the month.
Depending on
No,
the
no,
recycle.
I understand that. I'm saying for the first, this says 11/1. So that means then my November bill is going to be bigger than my October bill because there are far more days in that billing cycle because we've just moved it from September, instead of being September 20 odd, it's now going to be another. You're going to add, from what you just said, you're going to add 7 days to that first billing cycle on the new cycle. So we should tell people that their bill is likely to be 20% higher because we moved the date.
Well, I guess I'm unclear, and really, I mean, do you want me to change the verbiage of this? I
I
mean,
think
is
we want to
it,
add to it, and just
Okay.
put an asterisk and say, during the transition to, what we're calling this billing.
So you normally would be reading on September 28th, correct?
we would be reading the water meters
It's right there.
on the
There'll be a last
31st.
number of days in the first
Oh,
read.
yeah, I'm sorry, on the 28th, yes.
Okay.
So that will go from the 28th, that will be 35, it will be a 35 day. It's 31 plus, will be
Plus
34
2.
days.
So you're talking 32, 33 days.
Yeah, so it'll be a
So
longer.
it's- It's actually not that bad considering what it could be.
And
Yep.
it says, there may be a larger number of days in the first read
I
as we
think that's why we
transition to
picked
this
that
new
month,
read
because
cycle.
it wasn't gonna be that bad.
So then we should say
considering
there
what-
will be a larger number of days in the
Okay,
first
Since May to will, there will be a larger number of days. That's all.
Yeah.
Done.
Where's that?
One change, last paragraph,
Yeah.
first sentence, change may to will.
Oh,
There we go.
Yeah, because the first is actually on a Tuesday.
What about that sentence about during the transition? Are you, is that, no?
No, we don't,
Where are you saying that?
You were telling me.
there
in
will
this-
be.
There will be a larger number of days on the first read as we transition to the new read cycle. That's
Yeah.
all, just change the may to will.
Oh.
Okay. Good. Ready?
Sounds good to me.
Good.
Yep.
So do we need a motion on this?
I don't think so. Mary Beth prepared it and just changed it. It's good enough. So we're on old business number 2, discuss the sanitary survey, Mass DEP report. One of the things when I read through this, Mary Beth, that I kind of want to just go to, with respect to, and good report, by the way, you know, kudos to you and the team.
Thank you.
That's a good report, you know? Just give me a second to get to it. A copy at home with my notes on it. Just give me a second to read to it. Oh, here it is. So compliance plan, section B, deficiencies. So we have no violations, which is great, section A. Section B, deficiencies.
Yes.
The well number 2 pump, that's a technical item, and a management issue. And it says, the Raleigh staff shall contact the appropriate town authorities to ensure that the activities in the zone 1 are secured. I don't know what that means. At a minimum, they shall confirm that pesticides, insecticides, and fertilizers are not used within zone 1. The staff shall submit a report to the Mass DEP confirming that the Zone 1 activities do not have a significant impact on water quality. Now, I know that you're not supposed to be having human activity, this, that, and the other thing, but the way I'm looking at this is if we just make sure that they're abiding by this, no pesticides, insecticides, no fertilizers, no outhouse at the end of the ballpark, that we should be able to put a report to them and say these conditions are so. Is that, did I read that right or wrong?
So I've actually met with Parks and Rec and Dave Peterson, the selectman, and I sent out an email with a series of questions, which they graciously answered. So I have part of my response.
Can you speak? I can barely hear you, and I'm not
You
turning it off.
can't hear me?
Yeah, because it is, it's too hot. But anyways, if you could
Did
speak
you
up
want
a
me to
little.
move it closer?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Just talk up a little.
I sent an email out, and I got the answers to those questions about confirming that there were no pesticides. I asked for their management, if they had a management plan. I asked if there were any conservation restrictions, how are they managing stormwater. I asked about the portable bathrooms. I asked if the property was treated with herbicides or pesticides, who maintains the property, and who actually owns the property. So the town does have a plan, and the plan is that within 2 years, certain things have to fall into play. They need to acquire land. They've already been looking at this. But the ultimate goal for the long-term protection of that source is to decommission that ball field, and it would be restored to its natural state. One of the things we are going to have to do, which we can talk about because you have in your packet, we're going to have to put up a fence. And that's about $20,000 ballpark, no pun intended, on that one.
A lot of work for that one.
Sorry. That $20,000 to put a fence up to separate, a physical separation from the wellhead in the field. Because right now, if people are there for a ball game, they can actually walk right, there's no separation.
They do. My kids have played down there.
So we'll have to be putting up a fence. Once it's all decommissioned and gone back to restored, we'll have to fence in the whole frontage and really segregate that, because that open space, it will be a nice place for people to go and have a little picnic on a lawn. And in the Zone 1, there is absolutely no human activity other than water department business stuff. So that was one of the easy ones I was able to address out of all of them. Did you want to go through each one, John? Because I think it's important that we talk about potential costs and how we're going to fund these. It's up to you.
I don't want to have that discussion tonight, but just say there'll be a cost with this, So why don't you just walk through the report, if you want, the matrix at the back with all the findings?
Yeah.
If you just follow in that table B,
Yeah.
and each one, it tells you what the deficiency was and then what we have to do. And I'll just give a quick overview. I'm on it. I already have the costs coming, the proposals. The draft report is 85% complete. I'm just waiting on some stuff from Tater and Howard so that I can attach it to comply with the DEP. Now, the one thing I do want to point out is the due dates for all of these compliance issues.
Are ludicrous.
I would tell you right now, and I've spoke with the DEP, and I told them, it is extremely unreasonable to expect me to do an investigation of well number 2, which is about a 70,000 plus project, which would have to go out to bid. You need a minimum of 30 days. We're not going to comply with this. So we had talked, what my plan is to put my package together, which the board will get a copy of. Attached with all those engineering estimates is going to be a timeline for us to complete. It will get sent off to DEP. If the DEP accepts our proposal for the completion of all of these, we'll be fine. If they don't and say, no, I'm sorry, you need to comply with this date because of A, B, and C, then that's a topic for another discussion. But if we don't, because it's virtually impossible and we do not have the funds available, which we don't, it will escalate to an AG order.
That's fine.
which
I mean, so
I just
be
wanna
it.
let you know that's
At
the
this point,
process. I would hope the
Right,
DEP would work with us, because we are not saying we're not going to make these repairs. My limitation is funds.
September 15th is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
You know?
I told
So
them that.
anyways, we'll see what happens when you file it.
Okay.
That's a month after they submitted the report. But I have a separate issue with well number 2, and that is the current maximum capacity is a 5% shortfall from the approved pumping capacity. And it's going to, from what Mary Beth just said, it's going to cost us $70,000 to increase the pump capacity from 95% to 100%. That's ridiculous. If that was the only well that we had in town, yeah, perhaps you might argue that, but that means if the measurement error on 400 gallons per minute went from 400 gallons to 420 gallons, we wouldn't have a deficiency. So this lacks total common sense, and with an outrageous.
No, because we're not able to get, we're unable to get 200 gallons per minute. That's what the deal is. We are rated to pull 600 gallons a minute, and we can only pull at max capacity 400 gallons per minute. So we're not able to get what we can get.
So about
Yeah.
30% diminished
Yeah.
capacity.
And that's pretty antiquated stuff in there too.
So
So see the
we're
first sentence,
authorized to
Bernie?
pump 600.
See the first sentence says 0.605? That's our allotted withdrawal, which is 600,000 gallons per minute. And I'm sorry, 600 gallons per minute.
It's
What?
420 gallons per minute.
I don't see where you, all right.
Because it's a 5% shortfall. It's 0.605 is the approved pumping capacity, and currently we're only able to pump 570, so that's 605,000 gallons per day, and then it's saying we can pump 576. That's a 5% shortfall. So based on these numbers, if there are different numbers, then I'd like to see the different numbers, but based on these numbers, that's a 5% shortfall. We have the approved pumping capacity of 600,000 gallons per day. But we can pump 576,000. Well, that's a 29,000 gallon shortfall on 605,000, which is 5%.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So here's the deal. This is on this report. We have to do it. You can't get out of this.
So we're gonna spend $70,000 to get
The
another
DEP
29,000
said
gallons?
we have to do this, and if, I don't know how, I'm having a difficult time with them to buy into giving me extensions. What you have to understand about this sanitary survey report, this is it. If the board chooses to ignore that, then this will go to a violation in Table 1 and an AG order. This is the
Well, but why can't we
My
only
This is
do
a
it
huge
by
deal.
My only question is if the ball field has been in the well one for years, and then I'm sure there has to have been previous sanitary surveys, how come it's never a violation?
Because we never had a flood at the treatment plant before. This is a result of the flood at the treatment plant. When we were in a shortfall of water, okay, and we were instructed by the DEP to crank up the flow to 450 gallons per minute, we couldn't do it.
Which
The
I'm sure
max we
easily
could
been able
get,
to do.
the max we could pump was 390 gallons per minute. That is all. And we were at full 60 hertz, 100% on the VFD. We couldn't get any more. So as a result of that, and the fact that we don't have copious amounts of water in storage, this ended up on the sanitary survey as a
So you
deficiency.
just said you could pump, what, 290?
390.
390, which is almost 400, and this is saying 605. And now you're saying you can only
They
pump
wanted 400.
400. These numbers just don't work for me.
Well, it's also the verbiage that says Rowley shall evaluate the pump. Well,
And the evaluation is $60 or $70,000, because you have to go in there and you have to pull the pump, you have to investigate the pump, you have to check the well, you gotta put a probe down there, it may need to be redeveloped, so it is not a cheap fix. Now, just so the board knows, I already have this well on the capital schedule in 2 years. So I was already gonna be proposing to the board that we do this in 2 years according to the capital plan that I gave the Board of Water Commissioners. So it's no different from us shifting and moving other things around in our capital plan as the need comes. You just need to let me know how you want me to proceed with this.
I think we don't have an option, we have to.
Yeah, when was the last time that well was redeveloped?
I don't know.
I know it was done when I worked here, but that was 20 years ago.
That could very well be.
That could be the last time it was done. I don't know. But when they do that, they have to pull everything, go through everything.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Well,
work.
if they
It takes
redevelop,
days and days and days to
redevelop
do
the
it.
well, but my read of that,
So, we've got to do this, we've got to, investigate it. So
Right
what-
now, we don't know the reason that it's not producing what it's supposed to be. It could be that the gravel packed well is clogged up.
so-
Could be-
I
Has to be
agree with you, Bernie,
redeveloped.
It seems to be.
It could be a screen at the bottom
a
that
lot
is
of money
clogged
for a
up.
small
It would, it could be
benefit, but
mechanical
And
too.
it could be the pump itself.
Yeah.
we'll address it.
so what are we pumping from this well on a day-to-day basis?
The max we can get is
No, no,
300.
what are we pumping from this well on a day-to-day basis? How much water are we actually drawing from this well to supply Rowell?
You have it in front of you, Vern.
Number 2. 102 per day. No, August of this year, 141.
The average daily flow from, is 141,000 gallons.
So we're using, we're using on an average, midpointing those two numbers, it's 120, it's 120,000. That means we're using 20% of the capacity of that well. So we're way under our current capacity. I mean, it seems to me as though we want to talk to the DEP.
There is no,
There is
it's
no.
no dialogue.
This is the biggest thing a
government
water
agency.
supplier goes through, is a sanitary survey.
Well,
Bernie, it could have been a lot worse than what you have in front of you.
No,
But we're so,
but
you did such a good
from
job.
I think that we have done a good job, but this is still kind of like bizarre. We're going to spend,
You're gonna be going through this process with well number 3, that's also in the capital.
Actually,
Well
well
field
number
5.
3 it's been done more often because it clogs up a lot faster than well 2 does.
Well number 3 was on the schedule for FY18.
Yeah.
I would have been bringing forward well number 3 to redevelop that well, and then follow that by well field 5, because it's high in manganese.
It was done in the 4.5 years I worked here, it was done twice.
And they
That tells you
just,
something.
it was done as part of the treatment plant in 2013. So those wells are due for their cleaning. This well was not done, to my knowledge, as part of that project. So this well is actually due anyway.
So in the packet, there's about $103,000 of expenses. How does that impact the budget?
We do not have the funds to comply with this, so what I've done, I was hoping to have it for tonight's meeting. I've asked Sue Bailey to tell me what the balance is in the stabilization fund.
Yep.
If the money is in stabilization, I would be putting it on the next agenda to be included in the fall town meeting warrant for one article for all the projects, the total cost. If we don't have the money in stabilization, we will have to include this in the operating budget or the capital plan for FY18. And we'll have to be creative in how we budget, because this could be borderline, I know you hate this word, rates.
Yeah, well, given that our revenues are going to continue downward trending with less and less water, yeah, that's something we're gonna have to look at, a little bit further out in the year. So, all right, anything else on that? Looking at 100,000.
No, and just so the board knows, I had asked Tater and Howard to throw this together so I could give you some ballparks. So these may go up or down. Some things, they just pulled something, so there's some costs that weren't included in here.
It's an estimate.
It's a real
Okay.
out there estimate. So
Yep.
you'll have everything in the packet when I get everything. And they know that I have to have something to get to the DEP, so they are actually working on it.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Bernie?
I would like to see we've developed wells, redeveloped wells before, so I'd like to see kind of like a cost history of what it's cost for each,
A cost
Each one.
history for what, Bernie?
for the redevelopment of the wells on each of these sites, so that we know what we're looking at.
Okay, so you mean,
What is the cost previously?
well, oh, I see. Okay, so you want me to go back and work with the town accountant to go back in the historical records for this
The
project?
last 3 or 4, I mean,
Last 3 or 4?
so then
I
at
don't
least
think
we don't
that's
have the- we don't have
necessary
the
because it's
bandwidth
gonna
for
be
that.
what it's gonna be. And it doesn't matter what it cost before, it's now is what it's gonna cost.
I appreciate what you're doing, and in
Mhm.
in a business I would do that, but with respect to this, unfortunately, we don't have an option.
It'll
and that's
go out
what
to
mine
bid
is.
and that's what it's gonna cost.
It's the current, I guess it's like buying a lobster, it's current market rates, unfortunately.
And this is part of normal operations for a water
Mhm.
department, when you have a groundwater system. There are some systems that have to do this annually, because the water quality is
Well,
just bad.
Station 3's
It's
pretty close to that.
It is. It's overdue.
So, anything else? All right, we're gonna move on. Next item, discuss the new meeting day for the Pingree Farm Road, access road widening.
So, Chairman Manny, if I may, to try to help the process, so we had the meeting scheduled on site with the conservation agent, we had to cancel it. And I asked just to, for a couple of dates from the conservation agent to see if it might have worked, so we can kind of be a little more proactive since.
Yeah,
So, the dates that were provided to me were, August 31st, or August 30th, for potential dates for the special meeting on site at the Pingree Farm Road. Any of those dates work for the commissioners? Or do you want to get back to me?
I'm off the 1st and 2nd, so maybe the 30th. 30th might work for me. Bernie?
what day of the
Oh,
week?
it's Tuesday and Wednesday. And you,
Well,
these are
so it's
things
a
you got
week
with Brent?
from now. That's fine.
Excuse me?
You talk back and forth with Brent on these dates?
I did, I asked him, we were talking about something else, and I mentioned it was on the agenda, and I said, hey, you got a couple of dates open in the next week or so, and he gave me those two.
I'm not available the 31st, but I'm available the 30th.
30th? 30th.
All right, so now the meeting time, so since this is going to be a special meeting and it's not gonna be anything, maybe, I don't even think the minutes will be ready for you to approve. And I know this is sometimes a hardship for you, John, but is there any way that instead of waiting till 6, that we could meet a little earlier? Because it means that both Brent and I are here waiting to go out to Pingree
How
Farm.
about 5 o'clock?
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
And have that be the only thing on the agenda.
yeah,
That's
we'll
the-
meet up
that-
at the plant.
We will meet directly up there, yeah.
Okay.
I greatly appreciate that, thank you very much.
Okay, Bernie, can you do that?
Yep.
Not for anything, but would we want to tell, can't remember the people that live right at the corner there, that...
The Trellos?
Yeah, do you want to just give them a ring and tell them? I would welcome them as a butters, if you will. If they wanted to join us, they're more than welcome to walk along with us. And again, more on respect that they are butters and directly impacted by anything we do right there.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we will also be inviting the Pingree Farm Condo Association, because we all have a
Yep.
stake in that
Yep.
stretch there.
Yep. But definitely the Petrillos, because they definitely are the canaries right there, experiencing everything that first happens. Okay, that's done. Customer service survey. Hold on, business number 4.
With everything else that was going on, I didn't have a chance to read any of this.
Okay, we tabled it last time. I think it's pretty straightforward, Mark. Want to take a minute and just take a quick read? Just for the folks at home, I'll read it. It's number 1, how would you rate the water quality, the quality of your Raleigh water? good, okay, not good, and there's more verbiage with it. Provide details. Oh, Bernie, this is yours, if you want to.
Yeah, so,
Sorry. Just roll it along.
so question one was, as John just said, how would you rate the quality of your Rowley water? Good, we drink it without a filter. Okay, but we prefer to use a filter or bottled water. Not good, our water has an odor, bad taste, etc. And the follow-up question is, please provide more details that would help us understand your rating. The next question then, this goes, each page is a separate page on the online survey. Have you called the water department or interacted with its employees in the last 12 months or so? Yes and no. And then it says, if you haven't, then you can skip to the next page. If you have called the water department, please describe the issue or circumstances. There's a text box, and then please provide details on what was done or not done to resolve the issue. And then the next follow-up question, were you satisfied with the outcomes? Yes, somewhat, no. And then the last question on this interaction with the water department would be what could or should have been done differently. And the next page then is a similar set of questions for interactions with Penachuk, and we will correctly spell Penachuk. Have you had to call Penachuk in the last 12 months or so? Yes, no. And then if you haven't, then you can skip to the next page. If you have called Penachuk, please provide details of the issues or circumstances, what was done or not done. Were you satisfied with the outcome? Yes, somewhat no, and what could or should have been done differently. The point in these two sets of questions is we will then have a series of kind of anecdotes, concrete examples of what has been happening in terms of customers' interactions with the water department here and with Penachuk. And then please provide any additional comments or suggestions concerning your water services, the water department or Penachuk. We may want to follow up with you. If you are willing to provide more information, please complete the contact information below. And it's just a thank you.
The only thing I'd change is I take the or so out of all the questions, just the last 12 months.
Okay.
Take the what out?
Or so.
Or so at the end.
Oh,
Just in the
just
last 12 months. Yeah, make it,
Direct versus
Direct, yeah.
conversational. Yeah. Do we need to vote on this thing? Well, before we vote, what about, how do we get this out?
Well,
Put it
the
on the
two
website?
obvious ways are to put a flyer in the bill, kind of obviously sequencing it to make sure we don't bump kind of more pressing issues like changing the building cycles, and then a link on the small blurb and a link on the website.
Can we update the website? Or do you have to go outsource to do that?
I'm not sure, we do our best to update the website, and we have to see the linking thing, if we can do it.
It's just putting a hyperlink in.
Yeah, I know, but
Bless you.
it's, we think we get it, and then we go in, and what we did yesterday to update the webpage doesn't work today, so we're not experts, we are doing it, but we will, if you send us what it is, we'll do our best.
So I think we should put it out there for September, put a splash on it.
I just have a lot of questions about the survey, okay? So you're now asking us to put it on the water department webpage, so the link will be there,
Yep.
okay? People are going to go in and take the survey. Is one of the commissioners going to be going into this website and managing all of the data that's being collected?
Yep.
Okay. All right,
You don't have to do the work,
okay,
just get it on the site.
That's what we agreed when we
okay.
pushed it forward. I mean, if we get 50 responses or so.
are we going to put a time limit?
Yes. No, we'll have a
Survey
time
expires at a certain date?
Yes.
Yeah, I think 2 months. And then, because right now, the next bill, the next next flyer going out is about the change in billing and the water prices.
Would it be all right if we have, all right, so the bill stuffers, we already have bill stuffers for the water bills out through till January. I have a whole schedule for public education, which I'm required to do. Would it be all right with the board if we put, you know, like on your water bill, we can put a message on there? We've done that 2 times. We put a piece of paper in, and then we put also a message for other things like,
Oh, if we're gonna put a message on the bill, that's even
yeah,
better
like
than
we,
a flyer.
like we put in, please go.
No, when I was going around talking to people about being on this board, I had to explain the bills to them.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure that people read the bottom line, and that's about it on their water.
Well, I mean, can you put it in a box that's on the bill, so it's like?
I'm not sure where the message pops up.
Yeah, because if it's
in
just
the bill.
like in text at the
I
bottom.
don't know
So,
where a message would pop up.
I would rather us fit your schedule of inserts and do it in January, if that's what we need to do, rather than do it on the bill itself.
What would you think about putting it on the website? I mean, on the website for a trial to see, and then in January, put the flyer, and then pull it down, and then put it back out in January with the mailer.
Will you be providing me with the flyer?
Sure, I'll do whatever you.
So what we need is, it works better, I'll need you to send it to me in a Word document, because it's easier, then we send it over to the printer. They prefer it rather than a PDF, because they have to manipulate.
No, I hate PDFs. Word makes much more
Okay,
sense.
so Bernie, if you want to get me the flyer that will be in the insert, so we're gonna be having the October 10th bill is when your September bill will go out. I was gonna put in about the water ban. So, and then we're gonna flip that one over and add about the billing cycle. So then, we'll be reading on the 1st of November, and then water bill will go out to you. I can put it in November. The next, I believe, whatever the next billing cycle is in November, I can move things around. You just have to tell me.
All right, let me think about what the pluses and minuses
Okay.
are. Because we just said that sending out requests for surveys in November and December basically guarantees
You mean 'cause
oral
of the-
response.
You mean because of the timing of the year?
Yep.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, all right, so think about that and tell us what's
Yeah,
how
we
you want to
can
do it.
we can easily run essentially a beta by putting it up on the website and seeing what.
Yeah, I'd like to do that,
responses.
because that's low impact, a little bit of work, but it'll give you kind of a first shot, and then
Yeah.
we'll do the big push after the first of the year.
Okay.
So can you get the link to them for the
Yep.
website? Okay. And do you want to put it up for a month or 2 months? I think 2 months, just because
Yeah,
people might go on the site because of all the water crisis going on, back to school stuff, and the billing change, and they may actually go there and might generate more hits.
yep.
Okay.
So that was the other question. So on the home page, right now, I have, when you click on our link, the first thing you see in the middle is about the water conservation. Where on the home page am I gonna put this link? Because you can only, it would show up in the middle section, that's where we change. Everything else on the 2 sides.
Right under the water ban.
Okay. Under the water ban, what about the notice for the billing? I was gonna put that under,
I'll work with you and Katie on.
okay,
on
that's
how-
fine.
on-
I just didn't wanna
Yeah,
put it,
Because clearly there are other things, operational things which are going to be higher priority right at this point.
right,
And so we can figure out a way of,
because it's gonna be small, so when we put it on there, I didn't want you to go on the webpage and goes, where's the link? I'm like, well, scroll all the way down to the bottom.
no,
That's fine, okay.
it's got to be visible if it's going to be there, so.
You might wanna find a picture, because what we've been doing is you have a picture, and then that catches the person's attention. So think of something you might want for a picture, that you can send over a picture, and what we do is click on the picture to take the survey, or click on the link below,
Yep.
and it catches your eye. That's just
Yep.
food for thought.
I'm gonna move us along here.
Yeah.
Any more questions on that, issues? So you'll work with Mary Beth? Okay, great. New business, discuss and vote to authorize the water superintendent to waive fees as needed. What's that about?
So for example,
I don't have anything in my package.
So, for example, we had 27 Wilson Pond was in here tonight. We know that he's gone through this process. The board was going to waive his fees rather than having the customer come on certain circumstances, allowing me to waive the fee because, like for example, like that one, because you were going to waive it anyway, kind of thing. I'm not talking about like meaning, what happens is if the customer comes in tomorrow and has some kind of discrepancy, and the water board doesn't meet for a month, and I need your approval, this customer has to wait until the water board meets so that you can vote to waive a fee. Meaning, if there's some discrepancies, like if there was a matter of a problem with interest, or like, $3.62 on interest because it was,
Well, $5.15 like a
I
former
mean,
commissioner
we've had customers come in before, and they've had to wait to come before the water board for their relief or whatever there is. I don't know, I put that generically, I mean, I was just food for thought.
You put a dollar amount on it. And it can't be associated with reclaims, abatements.
No, I wouldn't want to do the abatements. That would be something definitely need to be brought before the board, but like, if we have any other customers that come in, give me some flexibility to work with them, like the $30 well fee, if we have customers that are no longer customers and that kind of thing, or,
No, that makes total sense.
I mean, what about $30 and under? Because that would cover, that's really the fees I'm talking about. It's the small dollar amount things that people want some kind of relief. $15 here, $20 there. Now, if I feel,
Maybe $50.
That's the kind of figure
Yeah.
I was figuring.
Yeah, I think like $50,
Okay.
that gives you a lot to just clean up, just
exactly, some cleanup
administrative
things.
things.
And if
I'll
I
make that
feel that if
motion.
it's something that should be brought before the board, oh, most definitely, I will bring it
Yeah.
before you.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's $50, if it's less, I will bring it.
Support that, Marty?
Yes.
Second? You made a motion.
Second.
All in favor of authorizing Mary Beth to address fees $50 and under, say aye.
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 Passes.
Thank
Good.
you very much.
Yep. Well, number 2, lightning strike. We tabled that a little bit ago. We know it had to be fixed. You guys got on it. Surge protector got fried. What do we need to know about this?
It's just an update that the well number 2, I mean, this was right after the flood, we got Murphy's Law, we got struck by lightning at well number 2 on the weekend, and it took the station offline, and
It wasn't even a thunderstorm.
it wasn't even, it was
dry
one of
lightning.
those heat
Oh, I
lightnings.
remember. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
I'd just like to compliment you, the crew on how fast they got Station 2 back on service.
thank you, yeah.
I saw the emails. This says they put together quotes for upgrading the surge protectors. Where are you guys with that?
We are 100% back up and running.
Oh, the surge
That-
protectors are in there?
It's- Yep, by that Monday, I believe it was, or the 26th. So a matter of 4 days, we had everything all taken care of.
Good. Excellent. And like, I just, parrot Mark's comment, did a nice job getting on that right after it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, lost revenue for accounts switching to well water. You wanted to do an analysis?
You would ask me to provide the board with the accounts and what, on it, and this is on an annual basis.
Okay. It's all over the place. Okay.
Well, I mean, it looks like And some of these people haven't been charged anything. So Scott Powers,
They haven't used
He's
town water
never
in
used
years.
any water.
all right, so we're not losing anything.
That's the one we put the meter pit in,
So
or they put the
in
meter pit in, I should say.
89 Kittery Ave, that's going to work out, most of these are going to work out around $3,000 a year,
Potentially.
which is essentially a payback of 4 or 5 years on a well. So essentially every account which is generating 3,000 a year is essentially a target for a well.
Potentially.
So,
They want to take that risk.
yeah. So we should probably have an estimate of how many customers are in that zone. When I checked my math, it was an 8-year payback on the well, which is kind of like not enough. It needs to be faster.
Well, I'm not going to do anything with this right now, just because things would be, with the water ban earlier this year and now going to the next level, I mean, I think it would skew our estimates, so.
This
I
was
think
for
we
your
wanna watch it.
FYI, you
Yeah.
just wanted to see, out of curiosity, I think, what
Give
it
us
was.
an idea of what we're looking at.
Yep.
Anything else on that, guys?
Nope.
All right, pet waste bylaw, source protection, discuss and vote in favor. And, do you want to read this in, Mary Beth, or do you want to read it, just the letter?
My memo?
Yeah.
Sure. I sent a memo to the Board of Selectmen dated August 9, 2016, and the topic was source water protection well 5. I would like to respectfully request the Water Department have permission to install an existing sign post and no parking beyond point and scoop the poop sign at the entrance, easement that goes across the conservation open space to the water treatment plant. I believe there is a restriction on conservation property for no parked vehicles. Pet waste is an ongoing problem. And can you please put this on an agenda for a future meeting for your consideration? So, this memo, there was just a little bit of confusion. It was during that time when there was kind of like incomplete communications. So this has all been resolved. But bottom line is, what I need the board to do is the Conservation Commission, I'll be working with the Conservation Commission, Board of Health, perhaps the Animal Control Officer, Debbie Egan, Town Council, to try to look at a way to come up with a bylaw for handling pet waste. So in order for everybody else to move forward, I would just need the board to vote. Are you in favor of protecting your source of supply by endorsing a pet waste bylaw for the town?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'll make that a motion. We do it.
Second.
All in favor of endorsing that bylaw, say aye.
Aye.
Good. Go ahead, Mary Beth, that needs to be addressed.
Thank you very much.
And that's been a lot of work to wade through the communication process, but it's worth it, because that's another quiet one, and then horses are down the road next year. We need to address that with some of the other boards. Abatement request, new business number 5, Janet Blanchett, 112 Weathersfield Street. So, any comment on it first while we're reading it, or? Wow. Place the agenda for 8:4 and 6:3, discussion with water bill. I sent the building up 4 to 11 times. We found 2 2 major leaks which they fixed the same day. Please ask me for consideration for the data and fishing attached. Thank you for the time. It's coming down. Yeah, it looks like she jumped right on it too.
So if you look at the spreadsheet that's provided with the abatement calculation, based upon the abatement policy, this does not qualify for an abatement, according to the policy.
But we can override the policy if we think it's appropriate.
You certainly can.
And it looks like this happened 6/29. The usage went up from 8,000 to 44,000. And then back down to 10,000. Wow. But it looks like she got right on this too, based on the note.
Did they find a problem?
Yeah, it says here, if you read the
Okay.
handwritten note, it says, Chuck.
Or just found 2 major leaks?
There was
Yeah.
no documentation provided as proof that the leaks were fixed or what it was. It just says it was 2 leaks fixed.
Well, I would take it, I give her the benefit of the doubt. It's a handwritten note from the person. It seems sincere. And it looks like if there was a leak, it was fixed immediately because her usage went back down to normal. And what are they asking for an abatement?
$385.42.
Given the, did you gentlemen read the letter in here? Attached?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Based on that,
It just didn't say what the leak was.
right, that's, I need to know what
but it seems like it was fixed. It must have been in their house, and whatever it was addressed. You can see that it was addressed, whatever that is.
their peak usage has been in July of 2014. It was 17,000 gallons.
Yeah.
I agree with Mary Beth. This looks odd in the sense that it could easily be the filling of a swimming pool. And
To 44,000, even if 17 to 44 is, that'd be more than double that. And then July of this year,
So,
14,000.
the issue here is I would like to know what the leak is so that it gets clarified. If it's a genuine leak, then I have no problem.
So how about asking for more documentation of what the leak was?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to
I
me
agree with
that's the sensible thing to do.
So Mary Beth, if you
It doesn't say.
could note back, please provide documentation of what the leak was.
From
and then-
the plumber.
From the plumber. That way there's no funny
Yeah.
business. But definitely we'll consider it.
I mean, it's close enough to the generic number that we have anyways. It's 32,594 as opposed to, the policy says 40,000. So
Yeah,
you're getting
yeah.
pretty close.
Yeah, it's close enough to
You know,
consider.
close enough in my book
Yeah.
to qualify for the one time.
Yeah, just some more documentation. She doesn't have to come here, best if she does, but if she can provide the documentation, Mary Beth, that's good enough too.
Does that make sense, Mary Beth?
Yes, because part of the abatement process to evaluate it on your end is you need to know what was the leak. Was it a toilet? Was it a faucet?
Mhm.
And you need to show you have to show proof that it was done, and there's no
Yeah.
attachment.
That's what we're asking.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got it.
We're not against it, we just want
Yeah.
the rest of the paperwork.
So vote to send a leak letter to 12 Haverhill Street. Is that one of these letters up here?
Yes.
12 Haverhill Street.
So,
Leak in front of your residence? Leak at your property.
So while we're looking at this, the Greenbelt folks in Railroad Avenue, they basically said that they've got a leak. They have a leak, and that leak was discovered.
a long time ago.
So my question is, what's happening that leads to kind of a lag time of 4 or multiple months?
They had sought approval for repairing the water service, and because, as he explained, Dave explained, they have tenants. So it's not even a day's worth of work to shut the water down to replace the service. But we wanted to work with them, and they said, can we do this in September? So we said, we need a date that it will be done by. And I said, September 6th. And so then this all happened, and I said, we really need to get in touch with 95. They've got to fix that leak. I know it's another week, but, I have to put them on notice that they have to, because we're sending customers letters. So what happened was, the one in front of you was 12 Haverhill Street. The customer called us and said, I think there's a leak, there's water bubbling up. We came out, we fixed our side from the curb stop to the water main, it was leaking. We repaired that. Once that was repaired, they determined that the service was still leaking, but it was coming from the customer side. So that letter is...
Sorry, who determined that it was still leaking?
We did. We could hear it. So that we need to send a letter to the customer notifying that they have a leak and they need to fix it. During the leak detection efforts, which we began last week, 110, that's another customer. This one is not leaking on our side, but this is leaking on the customer side, and they need to fix the leak.
Yep. So I don't think there's any questions, send the letters. Do you need a vote to do that?
Yes, I just wanted you to vote to authorize me to send the letter, because in the letter, if you see, the Board of Water Commissioners voted at August 23rd to do this. So that's...
There's been no notification sent prior, right? This is the first
No,
letter they're
actually,
getting.
today, I sent an email over to Pennachuck informing the customers that they had a leak. We spoke to both at 12 Haverhill Street. Seemed to be okay with it, kind of sort of knew it was coming. And then the letter is just to give them the instructions, a little more instruction on what they need to do.
Okay.
So the leak is 2 gallons per day?
That is actually needs to be, it's a typo. I caught that after. Please don't write on that yet. Don't write on that.
Oh, sorry.
Please.
So
What is it?
I think it's 2 gallons a minute. John is out until next week, so I'm going to make the change on that letter myself. That's why I don't want you to mark it up. I'll fix the gallonage myself. Because I can't type it, reprint it, because I won't.
Signed it.
It will be put off till next week until he can sign it.
Okay.
That's why.
But there is a substantial leak.
Yes.
Because 2
And
gallons per day,
And the other one is worse. The other one that you have over there is leaking 15 gallons per minute. That's a huge leak. Huge. That was confirmed by the leak detection from Carl Sabra, leak detection efforts.
Okay. So,
15 gallons per minute, that's
That's
basically
a
a
lot.
broken pipe.
yeah, it's a lot of money too. So,
Make a motion to send them both.
Secondly,
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Good. Number 8, discuss HVAC for the office.
can I just say, I mean, assuming that this second letter, assuming that is a serious leak, because I don't think we should be sending out letters with 2 gallons.
No,
Yes,
yeah.
you need to send a letter out, because if we don't send a letter out, we have to put the customer on notice that they have a leak. This is documentation letter number
Right.
one. If the
No,
customer,
that's fine. I'm
Oh.
just saying, as long as the leak is substantial. If
as
it's
long
too
as they
ga-
have a leak, period, they have to
Yes,
fix it.
because they don't fix themselves, and they only get bigger.
It didn't matter if it was a quarter of a gallon a minute, they would have to fix it.
They grow.
A leak
because
is a leak.
The water deteriorates and
Okay.
degrades, and it just gets
Yeah.
bigger and bigger and bigger. So, I don't know, is that would you call that a policy thing, or just is the best
It's in the
practice?
drinking water regulations, that
Oh.
once we find out we have a leak, we're required to fix
Obligated to
leaks in a
report.
certain amount of time frame.
All right. So HVAC for the office area and meeting rooms?
Okay, so
No. No, sorry, I'm just having some fun with
originally,
you.
I was gonna talk about, central air conditioning, because at the front part of the office is, it's a problem. We've all been in this meeting room, when we've been on fire and the AC is on full blast. We tried fans, but then we can't hear each other talk, and then people watching from home, you can't hear anything.
How old's that AC?
I don't know, it's been here since I've been here 2 years, so the problem is, if we go to replace these small units, which are undersized for this room, I gotta find a unit that's gonna fit in that pre-existing hole, all right? And that, we have 3 of those. But it goes beyond, I'm talking with Commissioner Emery, it goes beyond that. So in the summertime, we can't cool the front of the building. The foyer where customers stand, I mean, it's so hot, you've all been in there. And then in the winter, we freeze. All the thermostats are pegged at 80. And we have space heaters. And we can't keep the building warm in the front part. So I was looking at something for capital, not right now, because we've been working on getting some pricing to get a ballpark. We're looking at about $15,000 for HVAC for this room. It would be the customer area, the foyer, the 2 offices, and because it's connected to the front part, it's the original part of the the office area, and the connecting hallway. And that was about $15,000 for heating and cooling.
If you're doing some analysis, and if you want to do some extrapolation, and if you look at these type of machines are energy hogs,
I know.
and if you look at your electrical bill and figure out if you can ballpark what that spend is on those 3 machines, that also can offset the 15,000, but the payback is because you're saving this. I'm not sure about the heating side. Well, same thing. If you're
Big
running,
electric baseboard, it's gonna be chewing up a lot of electricity.
yeah. So if you look at and try to estimate your HVAC with those units and the baseboard, you can say that it's 15 grand, but the payback is 3 years because of the savings driving, using an efficient unit, et cetera, et cetera. That would really help make the case.
Just a ballpark to close in the block hole, because you would want to take those out, block it in. It's about plus or minus $400 per hole. So
Is that what
that's,
Bob Gray gets?
Bob Gray won't be here to do that, unfortunately.
Can we outsource?
We will. Then we got a price. It's about, I think it was $375 to block that in, the 3 holes that we have in the windows. So for this, you would like me to do an analysis about the, I'm sorry, John, could you just repeat that again?
It's just a cost benefit analysis of the
Oh, yeah, okay.
power
Yep.
used by the 3 ACs, and then your estimate on the baseboard and space heaters. And Mary Beth, it's I'm not looking for precision, just estimates. If you can split that out, I would say your transition months you want to be able to see as your baseline. Like May, you're not using the AC in May, you're not using the heat.
Maybe I could work on that with you.
Yeah,
Like
sure. If
in
you can get the
between.
numbers, I can help you do the extrapolation. Okay, let's grab that. All right.
So are we talking, is this talking about replacing the system with a heat pump, or?
I don't think she's even that far in HVAC. I don't know if it's a heat pump or a combination, or have you looked at what type of a unit you're looking to bring in?
We are limited because would have to be propane, right?
No. Do you have gas here?
No. that's
There's no
the-
city gas on the street.
There's no gas,
It
so it
ends
would have to
about
be propane.
278, and then it comes back in on Route 1.
Ugh.
It never was on Route 1
It's not on,
until
it's not on
probably
my street,
15
part
years
of
ago.
Weathersfield Street either.
Really? Oh.
So just, we've gotten like 3 or 4 prices, just trying to throw it out there, see where we're at, so I can get a good, budget number. And they're all in the same ballpark. Low 14s to like between 14 and 16. That's what the range they've been coming in, so.
What about if you could put a solar on the roof and deflect some of the cost with having a big field of solar panels on the roof? Who knows,
It's
might
a
help,
good thought.
go electric. Anyways,
All right, anyways, we need to do something so our employees have good climate to work in.
I don't want them here, I want them outside.
But it's also the meetings, when this room gets pretty warm pretty quick. And, well, Commissioner Emery, you came in and the fan was on, that air conditioner was running all day. Was it, or was
The fan was
feel the
blowing hot
blast?
air.
The hot air, right at you, hot air, so.
It's good, it keeps the meeting short. It doesn't, unfortunately. All right, let's move on here. Residential cross-connect control program handout to residents making applications with the Board of Health for a private well.
So what this is, trying to, further improve on our process and how we do things. I've sought out with the Board of Health to ask if they would include this one-page handout if a customer or any person comes in, especially if they're a water customer, so that the customer knows in advance, taking cue from some of the concerns and issues we went through with some of the customers that we did deal with for the private well. We drafted this up. I've also given this to the Board of Health to take a look at. I did get a little bit of feedback, but it was mostly just some typos and some wordsmithing, and I did make those changes. So if the board is okay with this, we'll be giving this out, the Board of Health will be giving this out, on our behalf, as long as they're okay with it, to attach with their application.
Yep. You need a vote or just an FYI?
Do you want to include this?
Yeah,
Maybe you should vote, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, if you guys want to make a vote to include this, have the Board of Health include this.
So the only question I have, and I don't know that I want to go through this at this point, is the last item 6 on the bottom of that page is the $30 a month service fee. I've been looking at the bills, the commitment bills, and the $30, there are a large number of people whose water bill is less than $30. Estimated at around 15% of the bills are less than $30. I have no problem with a service fee. I just think we should set the service fee based more in line with what it actually costs us, and then that service fee should apply right across the board. If it's a service fee that goes for people with wells, it should be a service fee that goes for everybody who's getting water, because that's what this $30 is. It's inconsistent in my mind that you would be having water service for $15 a month, and you can pay $15 a month, and somebody who has not using any water, they're being charged $30 a month for the potential of using water.
Absolutely. They're paying a premium to have that meter left there in red. And I have no problems charging a market rate of $30 for them to have that meter sit there, so that they have that potential to reconnect at some point. But they wouldn't have to have, I assume we'll get a cut and cap, and they want the meter left there?
No, if it's a cut and cap, we take the meter out.
Okay, so why would they have a meter in town water? A private well?
Well, we have some customers that have separate systems. But again, it's like this, like Mr. Powers, he's, and Mr. Bissetta, they're gonna have a meter pit, it's gonna be cut and capped,
Oh.
But there are different circumstances, and we have customers that are paying the $30 a month to have both.
Mhm.
But they've been surveyed, they're being surveyed. There can be no connection between the public supply and the private well. It has
So
to
why
be-
would they want that meter?
Because they want it. Now, we have a couple of customers,
Save them the $4,000 thing fee, reattach
Yeah, it's
fee.
good insurance.
$30 a month as opposed to paying $4,000 when you
In case
need to
they-
reconnect it. And that way we are able to monitor it by reading the meter every month.
Yeah, make sure there's no fun.
Make sure there's no flow going through it.
no flow, and more important, leaks.
The what?
Leaks.
Yeah, okay. So, again. You okay with that still, or?
No, I mean, the logic, I still don't get the logic, so,
Well, people that want to keep that, and Mark really hit on it good, is that if people that still want to maintain that meter, they're hedging their bet on the well. So if their well fails, they won't have to pay $48,000 in fees to reconnect. They're already a water customer. They're a zero-use customer, but they're a customer. They're paying that meter fee to be
right,
attached.
but if I spend 6 months down in Florida
Mhm.
and just keep my water service going, I pay $0. You
Correct.
still have to read the meter. I'm essentially, I'm
But you're still,
hedging the
you're
bet
still,
that I'm coming back
you're
from
still a
Florida.
water customer.
You just put your service in abeyance for 6 months when you travel. You come back in and we flip a switch. Versus if we take out that meter and you're not a water customer, you're back
No,
to.
no, I understand
square
that,
one.
but the service that we're providing, which is the continuous reading of the meter, the checking for leaks, that applies if I'm in Florida or I'm there but not using it. It just seems to me as though
This is a premium that's being charged to these people for their ability to have both. That's what
It's an alternative to having your water cut and capped.
So,
I'm obviously not making my point clearly, that if it costs us $20 a month to read the meters and check for leaks and support all the infrastructure attached to that, then that's what it costs us. That means that that's an argument for a minimum service fee.
We already had that and they discontinued it because it wasn't fair.
It was a disaster.
It was doubling some people's water bills.
Well,
So it's gone on to the rates.
but the people whose water bills were doubling, I would argue, are the people who are going to Florida, that they're not using the water.
No,
It's
it
the
was
same.
a lot of low-income residents, and elderly people, fixed-income people. It was onerous. I mean, there was a large hue and cry from the population.
That,
Right, so I
and
was-
it was,
so-
what it was doing is it was doing it per meter. Well, I have my meter at my house that is for one person. It also was the same fee for Millwood Apartments. With how many other people there? They get the same $20 fee. Is it fair for me to pay $20 in that apartment building that has who knows how many people in it, pay the same amount?
Well, I mean, right, it's not going to be, there's not going to be, you're not going to come up with a solution on pricing which is going to be automatically fair for everyone.
That's why it got put onto the water rate and taken away from the service per meter.
And this is, again, a premium that's charged to people that want to have this, that are doing well. That's all. Could it be less? Possibly. Am I going to lower it? Nope. I mean, I'm not in favor of lowering it.
Me either.
My thing is more to discourage it. If you're gonna do it clean and take your chances. But
All right.
if you want a more complex solution, it's cost of doing business. All right then. There's an update on the capital projects. Right.
In your packet, you have a nice little one paragraph or so. We have a lot of projects going on. They're all at various stages. And I thought the board might want to take a look and to see where we're at. I know the question came up on dehumidification project, the stormwater project on Prospect Hill, the exterior coatings and security for the Prospect Hill tank, the paving and stormwater improvements for 401 Central Street, the capital efficiency plan and the water distribution study, the unidirectional flushing plan, and the water management act permit. So those are the active things we have going on right now. The one project that is the most further along is the paving for 401 Central Street. You have in your packet behind the Tatum and Howard overview, there is another handout from Tatum and Howard on the costs, and I broke down the costs for the paving project. So for the stormwater, it's $27,000. The paving is still estimated at $62,000, and because of its, you always want to have a contingency. There's a $9,000 contingency for a total project of $98,000 to pave this parking lot.
What is
So-
the stormwater part of this?
That is the stormwater regulations with the town,
Yeah.
that we have to treat the stormwater that we generate on this property, and we have to treat it on this property before it can get released into the wetlands and the watershed and the
Wow.
ground and all that. So how they do that is what they call BMPs, best management practices.
Yeah.
So because, and it's determined, one of the criteria is it's determined by the amount of square footage, if you will, that we're going to be paving, which would, you know, say at 10,000, it triggers this BMP and this BMP. So we do have an issue with drainage anyway on the property, and there'll be a grass channel going in on here that's going to direct all of the stormwater. It's going to travel along the curbing that will go on this side of the property. It'll be graded to travel to the grass channel, which will then travel to the basin that's already existing out back. On this side of the property, where the public parks, there'll be a similar basin made of gravel. But one of the things I asked, because it's, you know, trying to clean up this facility, I've asked if we could push it back a little bit so that it would allow us room to continue to plant like we wanted to plant, so that it's not so harsh, because it's just rocks. So that's okay, so we're moving forward. But the issue we have is, we do not have money for the stormwater. We have money for the paving. That's already been funded and approved at Springtown meeting. We don't have enough money in the budget to finish this project because of $27,000 for stormwater improvements. So one of the things I was going to suggest is, like everything else, is to see what stabilization was and transfer it, because we can't afford this out of the operating. We've already had some unforeseen expenses due to the flood that we had to pay out of pocket that wasn't covered from insurance. So it kind of set me back a little bit. So, you know, we're going to have to kind of not do some things to try to, but I can only not do so many programs to try to pay for overages, and then I won't have any money to operate. So I just want to bring this to the board's attention. I'll have more information on this for you at the September 17th meeting. I'll hopefully hear back from the town accountant on where we stand. But as we mentioned before, you know, we have to wait for the town audit and the cash and everything to be certified, and it won't be sometime until January, so.
Yeah, we gotta do it before that.
So, okay, I'll put this on the agenda for September 13th, if that's the next meeting date.
No,
Except it won't be the 13th.
Yeah, we're gonna meet the 6th. September 6th?
89,000, right? 62,000 and 27,000?
And
I
then
don't have a
$9,000
calculator. I don't have a
contingency,
calculator.
Here,
which brings it to
we can-
98.
just the only story. You can have this if you'd like. We'll just show it to you.
All right.
Chair up. Ah, stuck to the floor. Thank you, Bernie.
Okay, so, all right.
They're the actual numbers. Yeah, let's give a vote here. Can we do the next meeting the 6th instead of the 13th? Are you on vacation that Tuesday?
No, but it doesn't give us much time to prepare for the water board meeting, because that is the long holiday weekend. That's why we weren't,
I know, and we'll just, whatever you can do. I mean,
Okay.
just knowing that, but don't make it a heavy agenda, that's all. And I'll work on it with you, and we'll just do whatever follow-ups we
Well, you
can.
can have it the 13th, I just won't be here.
That's
always an option.
13th.
no, the board can meet, on the 6th, that's fine with us, it's just,
Yeah, so, and the next one, you have to push off to the 27th, because the 20th is a library meeting.
I think that's why we picked 13th and the 27th to skip the third week, which is your library meeting.
Yeah, we did, but if Mark's gonna be out, I'd rather, I
Okay,
don't wanna wait a whole 3 weeks to have the meeting, so we'll just get what we can covered, and,
okay.
then you get 2 weeks to get ready for a heavy meeting on the 27th. And yeah, no, I know it is the long weekend, I'm not gonna expect, an agenda like this. We'll just get some cursory things done. All right, the operations report, it's 8 or after. Want to just give us the highlights there, Mary Beth?
Sure, so we began our annual leak detection on August 16th. We also attempted to try to do fire flows, but we had to stop that on August 18th when we got notification of the water ban. In your packet, you have a water treatment plant flood up-to-date costs of what we know for the loss. Finally got that.
Mary Beth, can I just, again, this is my naivete.
Yeah.
We do the hydrant flushing for a reason. Is there?
It's not the hydrant flushing that they put off, it's the hydrant flow test, fire flows.
Okay, so
Mhm.
So is there another way of doing that flow test that uses less water?
There's only one way to do it.
No,
That's
open
to
it up.
open 2 hydrants. One with a meter on it, and one with a flow gauge with a pitot gauge on it. Open it all the way.
So we're gonna
You take
attempt,
readings and you put the numbers into the computer and it tells you what your flow's at.
we're gonna attempt to finish, because we budgeted for 20 fire flow of 20 hydrants. We've done 6, so we're gonna attempt to do the other 14,
When?
water pending, not weather, water pending, in October, during our flushing,
Okay.
normal flushing.
So, but pursuant to the water situation is back to normal.
And we may not be flushing in October
Yeah.
because of that.
Yep. Okay.
In your packet, you have, I asked the insurance company to provide an updated cost, because that seemed to be a question. So right now, we're up to $83,578.19 for a loss of the water treatment plant flood. But if you notice on the spreadsheet, it doesn't include any of the replacement of the furniture, the flooring repairs, and so there's some other items that haven't been addressed yet, but this is where we're at. I'm sure when that this is just like, this is unofficial, because I asked the insurance agent if he would, the insurance adjuster if he would put something together, just because the questions were coming up from the board. So that's where we're at, $83,578 so far on the treatment plant.
Is that from the insurance company, or that's what our piece is?
This is from the insurance adjuster who is working for Maya. The other thing, we're doing shut-offs right now. We started doing shut-off in tag properties for non-pay on Monday and yesterday and today. And anybody who hasn't paid will be terminating their service tomorrow for non-payment. And then we have another round of shut-offs coming up on September 5th.
How many are you looking at? Non-payment?
We had over 40 on the list. We tagged 32 properties. else would like to do? The residential backflow program, we have done 52 surveys to date. This is where we go in, working with the Board of Health to see what's going on, if people have town water in a well. You also have in your packet the proof for the new water department treatment plant sign. You can't see it, but it's a lovely shade of blue. The posts are white. I did ask for granite posts because it has a lifetime. These are just wooden posts with this white, he's confirming they're either painted or sleeved, and, you know, we're paying big bucks for this anyway, I think, for a sign. So I'm trying to get something that's gonna last by putting in the granite posts, plus it'll match better with the surroundings. So, it's not much of a difference. This is through the SRF funding, so I just wanted you to have that. You also have the most recent budget numbers from the Peachtree. Also wanted to point out that during this situation, we have actually enacted our emergency response plan. We have a section in the emergency table 17. It's drought. And so if you read through this, if you have a chance, it talks about a reduction in source of supply when we assess the situation. It also talks about what we do, what our action is when we reach that, and then the notification procedure, and then any follow-up and remediation after. So we do have a full-blown section. I gave this to the board for your FYI. I also sent this off to the fire chief, so you could see that we kind of sort of have a protocol. What else? Does the board have any specific questions about
15 Isabel Circle, what's going on there?
Yes, that's right here, somewhere in my file. Okay, so I'm not really sure where we left off with this one, but currently, 15 Isabel Circle has the potential to reconnect to the system because everything is still in place. There is the potential for cross-connection still exists. So in this situation, the $30 fee still applies. The option to install a meter pit, as the board has approved in the past, is available to this customer. Cutting and capping at the water main for $600 is another option for the customer. But at this point, we haven't heard from this customer since the water board meeting.
So what's our next step? Because this cross connection has to be stopped.
The survey, the board also wanted to wait for the survey.
Yep.
So there is a potential for a cross connection based upon the survey. And the customer needs to cut and cap, one way or the other.
Is this on this survey? I don't see it. Excuse me, I don't see it on the survey, Mary Beth.
It's attached behind my handwritten note.
I see the survey.
Oh, I'm sorry, John, it looks like this. It says 15 Isabel at the top.
Yeah, I have that.
That's what
But I'm looking at the surveys. The survey's completed? It's not on that list.
Is there a date on that report? That's as recent as of 8/5.
8/5, yeah.
This is done 8/12.
Oh,
survey
okay,
was
so it
done
hasn't made it onto the list.
Correct.
Okay.
It'll be on the next list.
Well, this is saying town water is cut, capped, and plugged.
Inside. Inside. So the service is still connected to the water main. If we take the water meter out, the potential to cross-connect and reconnect to the system exists. It has to be cut and capped at the street. That's where we're at with this one.
Okay.
Or the board has opted, I put that on my kind of handwritten note about the option to install the meter pit. The board has gone with that for a couple of them.
So we need to inform this individual that they are in violation of the cross-connection bylaws.
Yes.
So I think we need to draft a letter to them, and they need to take action. They can do the meter pit, like some other hooks have done, or they can do the cut and cap. Just cutting it in the house is not appropriate. They can still do what they want. So we'll work with them as much as possible, but
So what's happening with this one, this customer actually showed up on the shut-off list. So what's
Okay.
gonna happen is, these customers, if they choose, if a customer chooses to ignore the correspondence, this property will end up going to lien, is what will happen, over the $30 fee, because they are listed as a water customer,
Yep.
and when we go to lien, they will be overdue, they will have an overdue balance owed to the water department, and it will go to lien. So,
It's their choice. Anything else in the report?
let's see, insurance, survey. I did throw in there the legal opinion from Judy Pickett on our water use restriction bylaw, so that all the commissioners could see what was going on. I think it was the Board of Health who had asked for a legal opinion from
Yep.
Judy
Yeah, I got
Pickett
this.
on the water department's water use restriction general bylaw. So I already knew all of that, and I had already revised I have it right here. I revised it back and presented it to the board. It was brought to the board on 2/9/223. So I already have the revisions done to include all of that. So when somebody is ready, I thought maybe this might go to fall town meeting, since it didn't make it last time around. So I can certainly get you a copy of this draft so that you all can read this, and then
Yeah, let's get on the fall town meeting.
so at the next water board meeting, we're probably gonna have to vote to include this in the warrant, if this is what you want to do, because I'll have to then send this over to the selectmen for approval for the warrant.
Yeah, we
See
had
if-
11 items in the spring meeting, that's
I
why.
know, we were
Yeah.
busy.
I did all the talking.
You did a good job.
Thanks, guys. Bertie, you were-
Remember, I wasn't
you were-
working too good. I
Yeah,
wasn't
you
walking
were,
there.
you were just being a chicken.
Yes. I wanted to be over a month for a little work.
Well, I know you were hurt.
Mary Beth, on the operations report, system delivery is not system build, right, on your chart here?
Which table are you looking at?
This- this-
At this- Is it the one that says system delivery of 1,000,000 gallons?
Yes,
That's just what we produce at the water plant.
that's produced, not built.
That's not built, that's produced.
Yeah. So there's a big shift between 2015 and 2016, but it's at least looks like to me a 15% reduction in delivery
Well,
through
we
June.
actually, because we have active leak detection also. So when you have a leak in the system and it goes undetected, your water plant has no idea that when it's called to produce water, it's actually called to produce water to feed the leak.
Right,
So
no,
when we-
I'm just pointing out that
Yeah.
we've got a 15% drop in system delivery, which is works out to about 10 million gallons of less water being produced. It's 70 versus 80. 70 million versus 80 million. So presumably that will then subsequently translate into a 10% reduction in at least the chemical costs usage, right? And we're going to be using 10% less chemicals.
Well, the chemical usage here is just for current this year, this isn't last year. This is strictly 2016 chemical usage right here.
Right. No, I'm just saying that for our budgeting figures, that our chemical costs should be 10% lower, given that, as long as there's no price increase, because we've saved a hell of a lot of water, and we're going to be saving even more water.
Well, the way we
not
do
our
the,
choice.
it's true to some extent, but the way we do chemicals has nothing to do with that. So we belong to the chemical consortium. So in order for all of us small little systems to get a better price, the consortium bids out on our behalf. So if we were to bid out 10,000 gallons for chlorine, we might get a price of $8 a gallon. With the consortium, we turn in all of our usage to the consortium, so they're bidding out like 100,000 gallons of chlorine,
Right.
and we get a price of $2. So it's whatever the
Right.
bid price comes in.
No, I understand that. All I'm saying is that
Oh,
we
some
are
lost.
we are actually delivering 10%
Yes.
less water, which means a chemical cost should be, all things being equal, should be 10% lower. Yes?
I don't have those
But
figures.
based on what I think you were saying is that we buy them in bulk and you apply it across and you apportion it out. You know, this month of the 10,000 that we bought or 12,000, 1,000 this month, 1,000 next month. So I don't think that we catch up until the next budget season if we found out we've got, 4,000 units still left. We didn't, because it was 10% less, then we would bulk order next year less, I think, is what you were saying, that you buy in bulk and then apportion it across the budget, correct? Don't you spread that, or are you doing actuals on
Actuals.
usage? On the chemicals?
Yeah.
Okay.
I use what we use. I take what we use in chemicals for the total for the year, and that's what I use.
Then I think you guys need to get together and just figure out what that is.
What is it?
I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, maybe it's the time of night, but I'm totally lost on what's being asked.
And I'm asking Bernie to just pursue it with you. We're not going to solve it here. And it's
I don't
been
even
2
know,
hours.
I
of
don't even know
lunch.
what's being asked, the
Then
question.
We'll talk.
He'll just talk to you. It looks like it's a discrepancy of the water usage is down 10%. Why aren't the chemical usage down 10%?
Well, I don't know that. I would have to
I'm
go
not
back
saying
and
that.
look.
All I'm saying is that going forward, whatever we budgeted, we're going to come in under budget because our water usage is way down.
That's what you'd expect.
That's what
In
you-
theory,
But that, in
yeah.
theory,
Yeah,
that doesn't
well,
happen.
Right.
So
Yeah,
then,
we'll talk
then
about it.
reconcile it and
Yeah.
let us know. All right. That's it. Future board topics? Okay, next meeting is the 6th. Now let's look at that. So let's say it's going to be the 6th, 27th, 11, 25, 8, 29, 13th. Yeah, I'm good with that. And then the minutes, have you guys had a chance to read the
There you
minutes?
have.
Yes.
So I have as well.
Make a motion, we accept them.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.